Hello everyone, SeaMcCraft here, and welcome to The King's Dilemma Chronicles. Which, as I understand it, is basically The King's Dilemma is a board game, as I understand it. And this would, of course, be a video game adaptation of it. I'll be honest, when I heard of The King's Dilemma, it seems its basic premise is, like, you're basically playing as, like, the council for, like, your king or whatever. Like, various houses in the royal court. It seemed rather interesting, but I never played it because, quite frankly, it's difficult organizing that many people together to play a game consistently. And it's one of those, like, legacy games, so, like, we're not taking, like, one session. You need a whole bunch. Anyways, I've never played it, but now there is a video game version of it, so I'm curious to see if it's any good. Full disclosure, I did get sent a key for this game, so, yeah, I'm not gonna I don't believe I'm going to let that fact color my opinion, but just so you're aware, that is the case. Let's get into this. Alright, I guess we'll be playing a new game. I really have no idea what to expect with this. Warning, this game contains disturbing images and scenes of implied violence. There are references to slavery, abuse, racism, physical violence, domestic abuse, suicide, substance abuse, sexual violence, and limited gory imagery. Human sacrifices, blood. That some may find distressing or disturbing. Player discretion is advised. None of the atrocities described in The King's Dilemma Chronicles are in any way endorsed by the creators and distributors of this game. Well, that's good to know. Did all the squeamish people leave? Alright, let's continue then. I'm joking. Just having a little fun, okay? Introduction. Welcome to the Kingdom of Unkest, a place of daring expeditions, gruesome battles, and arcane mysteries. Located in the northern continent of Liwick, Unkest is one of the largest kingdoms of the known world, but it's not the only one. Okay. I always have difficulty with these maps figuring out which part is the water and which part's the land. The water is... okay. Just make the water blue. Makes things easier. The kingdom of Mahir, to the northwest, advanced both culturally and technologically. The small and harmless kingdom of Sidlada to the south, with its stingy lands. The Republic of Kopyos to the northeast, with commercial abilities beyond imagination. The Kasukian Empire to the distant east, where the emperor lives in opulence while the people struggle. The southern continent, barely explored, is only known for the fierce ivory desert and the tales and legends shared by the few foreign travelers venturing to our lands. Unkest has been enjoying several decades of peace, but less than 2 centuries ago, it was divided into many small kingdoms and raider tribes, conquered in wars or united by diplomacy over the centuries to be incorporated as duchies or marks. Little is known about what happened before this age of fragmentation, but what we know for sure is that all the lands of the known world were ruled by several lost civilizations throughout the ages. What caused these civilizations to fall is unclear. You are going to assume the role of head of the council, a governing body ruling in the name of the king, located in Libra, the capital city of Unkest. Before you begin, take a quick test to determine the house that suits you best. I'm not sure if that was an intentional rhyme, but we'll go with it. In a financial crisis, is it moral to sacrifice knowledge in order to save money? In a financial crisis, is it moral to sacrifice knowledge in order to save money? I'm not sure I'd say it's immoral. I'm not necessarily sure it's a good idea. Like, what does that even mean? Like, sell off your books or something? I'd say no, because, like, money is money, but knowledge is what helps you be able to get money in the first place, right? Innovations and like, so we'll go with nay. Is it okay to restrict certain religious practices that clash with the established cult? This is about religious conformity. I mean, the word certain is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this sentence. Because, like, you know, are the certain religious practices human sacrifice? Or is the certain religious practice, like, some weird headwear that that a religion prescribes someone wear? Like, you know, that's a big difference. Is it okay to restrict certain religious practices that clash with the established cults? I mean, in general, I'm fairly freedom of religion, so we'll say no. If a neighboring country gets invaded, do we step in to support them? I mean, maybe. Is it a good idea? Do we have interests? Are they an ally? Or, you know, are they providing resources to us? Are they a trading partner? Are they a thorn in the side of one of our adversaries on the world stage? It depends. Like, it's not necessarily an axiomatic, if someone gets invaded, we should get involved. You know, it depends on the situation. In general, I guess, a neighboring country. If it's a neighboring country we're on friendly terms with, and especially if the people invading them are powerful and might turn on us next, I'd say, in general, probably it's a good idea, but again, the specifics, the devil's in the details with all of these sorts of things. I've fashioned myself as a bit of a pragmatist when it comes to these things. With childbirths on decline, do we strongly incentivize families to have children? And you do kind of need people for society to function, so I'd say, yeah, that's probably a decent idea. I guess it depends on what the incentives are exactly, right? But, anyways. Tyrell. Each house has a different... So the House of Ankist. Each house has a different long-term goal and backstory, which affects their mutual relationship and affinity. Select info to read more about the two houses and make your choice. Okay. Okay. The Marquis of Tyrell. Originally, the present Marquisate of Tyrell was part of the kingdom of Muir. But when the king of Muir asked to share and redistribute the wealth of the nobles of Tyrell with the rest of the kingdom, your ancestors rebelled. How dare you try to change what you've always been? The nobles convinced the lower class that the next demand would be to take the children away from their mothers and redistribute them to foreigners. In a few months, a revolt sparked in Tyrell. The reign of Ankist supported the revolt of the nobles, and after a bloody war in the year 143, Tyrell was annexed to Ankist, and your family obtained the title of Marquis. Tyrell has a long coastal strip washed by the Siar Ocean, but is practically uninhabited. It is covered with forest and tormented by a stormy climate. Your people are terrified of the ocean and prefer to sail in the mild and tranquil waters of the Gulf of Isorapia, or the wild and tranquil river Abne. You are of a very conservative tradition and have every interest in keeping the poor in misery and ignorance so that they are easily recognizable and do not mix with your pure lineage. Okay. Interesting. That's Tyrell, and then I guess our Alwed is our other one. So Tyrell. No blood is like our blood. Alwed, life is to be enjoyed. Oh, and they're nemesis to each other. Ooh, interesting. So let's take a look at Alwed. Known in ancient times as the Kingdom of the Keys, the territory now called... I need to figure out how that's actually pronounced. Marquisate of Alwed had many conflicts with the equally small but more combative Kingdom of Sidlada to the south. Fearing an increasingly likely invasion from the south, or so they thought, your ancestors decided to join the Kingdom of Ankist in the year 73, making futile any conquest ambition that Sidlada might have had. Since then, your army has done nothing but observe a boundary that has not been crossed for generations. Despite the relative poverty of your land, you enjoy life, good food, and excellent wine. But your supposed mediocrity and indolence are the object of frequent jokes and mockery from the rest of the kingdom. This has earned your people the reputation of always choosing the simplest path and looking for shortcuts, and since your family hardly takes into account all possibilities, you never do anything to prepare your territory for adversity. You often ask the central administration for money to protect the kingdom from the imminent Sidladian invasion, or other phantom threats that never materialize. You would prefer your kingdom to have less social inequality. Okay, interesting. So, we could go with Tyrrell or Alwood. I don't know, I guess we could just sort of manage the border. It can be, what, ice? Or we can be these guys. No blood. And these guys are interesting. I don't know. But I'm not sure I kind of like the whole, like, keeping the people poor and miserable. Like, that seems a bit much. I think we'll go for Alwood, and, you know, maybe we'll insert a little bit of extra ambition into this house through our leadership. We'll make the House of Alwood great again. That's what we'll do. Alright. Oh, and just so you all know, I mean, this is a game that's obviously going to have some political themes and stuff. Don't read too much into it. I'm just having fun. I'm playing a game here. I might even roleplay a bit as Alwood. We'll see. Anyways, a group of scholars in Libra recently discovered that ancient chronicles often blame a black circle, a dark rising sun, a cursed eclipse, or other similar images for causing the demise of many past empires. After observing similar clues in recent years, historians started speculating about the existence of a secret society that has been leading civilizations to oblivion for centuries. This organization is referred to as the Black Dawn. Some think they are a force of chaos, others view them as an engine for creative destruction, and some view them as heralds of a new dawn, harbingers of progress and change. Whatever their true nature really is, it seems that a huge battle is coming. As head of the council, you have the power to shape the future of this kingdom, but the Black Dawn is lurking in the shadows. Its existence is threatening and yet intriguing. Your role is to inform the king about the decisions of the council, but it is within your power to alter them if you so wish, provided you have enough power. It's time to begin. A new king is about to be crowned. How will the future of Ankust unfold? Let's find out. The King's Dilemma. The trumpets strike 3 rising notes, and 81 doves are released as Harold V is crowned king by the prior mother of the cult. The people erupt in a cheer of joy. Our hopes of enduring prosperity are renewed with a new king. Foreign dignitaries from Kasuk, Kapias, Sidlada, and Muhur crowd the royal castle to evaluate the new king and win his favor. The ceremony is followed by a feast lasting for 3 days and nights along all the streets of Libra, our capital city. A week later, sitting on his throne behind the grand chiseled door of the council room, the new king addresses us for the first time. Any authority is flickering, and power can be a blessing or a curse for those on whom it is exercised, he says. After a long pause, he adds, ruling is an unsolvable dilemma. I guess we're adding that to the archives. Eclipse. The Eclipse keeps track of the 6 storylines of the King's Dilemma. Chronicles advancing with each story chapter. When all storylines are completed, the Eclipse will end and the uprising will start. That's ominous. Okay. I still don't quite know what... Oh, the map. This is the map of the kingdom. From here, choose your next dilemma from the sidebar. Change the zoom level between the entire continent, the kingdom of Ankust, and the capital city of Libra to reveal all available dilemmas. These 5 resources represent the status of the kingdom. Influence, wealth, morale, welfare, and knowledge. Every dilemma will move 1 or more of these resources, changing the stability of the current reign. Alright, so we're just kind of straight up there. Okay. So do we have free movement on the map, or is it just... Okay. So we got 2 things in Ankust, 1 thing in the world. The City of Tents. Murano, a rich merchant from a remote desert city called the... We got Golden Harbor. The Royal Marshal reports to us that 3 windmills were... And the torque. The High Commander has received a message from our... Let's go for the Golden Harbor. I think we gotta make sure our stuff is good. The Royal Marshal reports to us that 3 windmills were set on fire last night along the road between Libra and Golden Harbor. The affected millers are asking for help rebuilding their windmills. Do we fund the reconstruction of the damaged windmills? To solve a dilemma, use your power to make the final decision after the council has gone through the voting phase. Approving the majority is free, but subverting it will cost you power equal to the difference in votes between the 2 sides, +1. Be careful, if your power reaches 0, the current reign will end. Solving the dilemma moves the resources on the track, as predicted by the red and blue gauges. The amount by which a resource moves will be revealed after the votes. Okay, so... Seems the majority opinion is aye. It's annoying me that's not yay, but whatever. So, and honestly, that seems like a decent way to go. So, we will not overrule the majority here. With the monetary help of the crown, a small squad of carpenters is hired to rebuild the burned-out windmills with the most advanced techniques available. After the work, we are informed that they noticed the smell of an unknown alchemical substance at all 3 locations. Alright. Interesting. Each time a resource moves, the stability marker to the right will follow it. If the stability marker ever reaches either end of its track, the reign will end. Keep all of the resources in the highlighted area of the track to score more points when the reign ends. Okay, interesting. These all affect wealth. What's this one again? This is morale. Let's deal with torque. The High Commander has received a message from our soldiers stationed at the troublesome northern border of the Mark of Torque. Scarum smugglers are offering to provide us large quantities of red iron, a strange metal that can break even the strongest steel. The army wants the majority of it, but there is a lot of money to be made by trading it. To reserve the red iron, a strong metal for the army. With each dilemma, the time counter on the right will increase. When it reaches a space with the skull icon, the king has a 50% chance of dying, or 100% if it reaches the final space. Okay. Gotcha. Do we reserve the red iron? So nay would... So this would help us... So, okay, this is just a straight up yes or no sort of thing, it would seem. So we want our stuff in the highlighted area, so we want to eat it on the extremes, I guess? I don't see a reason to... Yeah, we can build up the army, yeah, that seems fine to me. And most of the council likes it. A strong economy requires a strong army to protect it. The High Commander contracts the smugglers to establish the operation. A steady flow of red iron from the mostly unexplored lands of the Folafjordar Mountains is supplied directly to the smiths of the army, with only a little remaining for our merchants. The Scarlet Tide. To thank the king for the prosperous business, the smugglers gift him a masterful red iron sword named Scarlet Tide. The army soon elects the blade as its symbol and as a sign of its future power. A significant portion of the imported red iron starts flowing towards the royal armory, and military smiths begin experimenting with new ways of working with the sturdy metal. Because of its exceptional sturdiness, red iron is difficult to mold into weapons and armor, but a few blades are forged for the most elite regiments. Interesting. Okay. Your moral alignment determines which rewards you'll get at the end of each reign. The rewards can be coins, prestige points, and or crave points. The resource track highlights the target area to score points. The more resources in the target area, the more you will be rewarded. Above the resource track, there is a preview of your rewards based on the current position of the resources and your moral alignments. Okay. Okay, so we can go deal with the City of Tents. Oh, there's some stuff in Libra. Royal Laboratory. Okay. That could be good. Let's look into this. Upon inspecting the first weapons made with red iron, we have lost contact with the smugglers. Many think they... Cerelia, a Codian merchant from Duin, has taken an interest. I think let's deal with the laboratory. Seems important. Upon inspecting the first weapons made with red iron, the chief doctor of the Royal Army realized it would be a wonderful material for medical equipment, as it is sturdy even when thin. Oh, we could make like some scalpels. Interesting. Some suggest we should prioritize forging swords over scalpels, but our medical knowledge could vastly benefit from such superior tools. Do we prioritize medical uses for red iron? When you vote against a council member, your relationship will worsen and they will eventually become your enemy. Voting in accord with a council member will improve your relationship, and if it reaches the maximum level, you can spend coins to form an alliance. Okay, so Yay would get the morale and, what is this, diplomacy? Knowledge up. This would increase our military might. I think I'd rather... Yeah, honestly, I think this could be a scenario where we take control. Because getting both of those close to the edge, I think that's more useful. Keeping our people alive is more important than giving death to our enemies. We prioritize the use of what little red iron we have for medical tools for the benefit of everyone. Still, the army would have preferred to wield more offensive tools. Chronicles. Solving certain dilemmas will have permanent side effects on the kingdom. When this happens, a chronicle will be registered in the table above the resource track. Their effects, either positive or negative, are applied to the corresponding resource at the beginning of every reign. Positive chronicles will move the corresponding resource up by 1 space, while negative chronicles will move them down by the same amount. The invention of more agile medical tools made with red iron, allowing unmatched precision when incising the human body, brought great enhancements to our medical knowledge. Nice. Okay, so that's a positive for knowledge, I assume? If resources move twice in a row in the same direction, it will move 1 additional step. The icon color will show you the last direction that the resource moved. White if it moved up, black if it moved down. After the second time that a resource moves in the same direction, it will gain a momentum marker and move 2 additional steps. Okay. I'm kind of worried about our stability. The king has abdicated. Drats. Whoops. At the end of each reign, you will gain rewards as described by your moral alignments. If you manage to put all the resources in the target area, you'll get even more rewards. I don't think we got any. If reign lasts for 3 dilemma or less, you won't be getting any rewards. You will also keep the same moral alignments. Rebel. Great. Choosing your heir. At the end of each reign, you'll have to choose the moral alignment for your heir to the head of the council. The longer the reign, the more moral alignments will be available. So what do we got? Supply medics with red iron tools. Precise and sharp tools that are hard and expensive to manufacture. They look more like lethal weapons than medical tools, but they can make miracles if placed in the right hands. Build a royal treasure room. Research Libra's geology. Let's keep on this medical thing. I think it's good. You don't have enough okay, I guess we're gonna research Libra's geology. Great. This table summarizes the types of preparation and their rewards. 1 rain, 2 rains, 3 rains. So examples. This preparation takes 3 rains to complete, unlocks a final dilemma, and rewards you with 3 coins at the beginning of each rain. This preparation completes at the end of this rain and unlocks another preparation. You unlock more preparations as you progress through the campaign, so visit the screen frequently to prepare for the big battle that is to come. You won't be able to unlock all the preparations in a single playthrough, as some will be locked out depending on the choices you make. Okay. Alright. Manage the council and review information at the houses of the kingdom here. Spend coins to replace council members and to form alliances when your relationship levels with another house is maxed out. If you form an alliance with another house, your total power increases by 1. Alliances have other benefits, such as reducing the cost of corruption and the cost of replacing council members. Costs are increased for enemies. With your choices, you can try to achieve the long-term goal of your house and 2 secondary goals. Completing them will grant you more power plus a bonus of cohesion or dissent points for the uprising. Okay, so my narrative goal is to foster society equality in the kingdom. Okay, and my secondary goals are to build the Great Orphanage and defend the Asher Brothel. Gotcha. Oh, and I can reveal the other house's goals. Gotcha. Okay, well, I guess we'll continue. You can find all previous tutorials in the pause menu. Okay. New reign, new me. Let's do this for real now. We should do something to do with... What's this one? It's probably pretty bad if we've lost contact with the smugglers. We've lost contact with the smugglers. Many think they fell prey to Skyrim raiders in the Lawless Mountains. Some suggest that we should send a military contingent to investigate. A dangerous quest, as it could be seen as trespassing by the kingdom of Enkal, further to the north, with whom we have not had contact for decades and whose military strength is unknown. Do we send the army to investigate the smugglers' disappearance? Spend coins to corrupt a council member and change their vote. The cost of corruption for a council member will increase each time you use it. Corrupting a council member will freeze the relationship between your houses for the card dilemma. Use corruption wisely to manage both your relationships and your power. Okay, honestly, I think sending them there makes sense. We lose some, food, some welfare. That's fine. And gain some knowledge? Yeah, that seems like the sort of thing we would want to do. Our soldiers leave Torque, heading to the harsh Falafuar Mountains. A few days later, only a handful of them come back. The survivors tell that they found the smugglers' camp and their corpses near the Enkal border, but were attacked by a handful of extremely skilled fighters bearing red iron weapons and armor. That ain't good. Despite their superior numbers, our soldiers barely managed to escape. Knowledge out of tragedy. The sacrifice of our soldiers north of the border gave us insight into the kingdom of Enkal's military strength and way of fighting. The prospect of further research on the subject excites our scholars. Iron that pierces the sky. Despite the relatively short distance, contact with the kingdom of Enkal was lost for decades. The bitter lands that divide us allow very few exchanges. And they never had much to offer anyway. Though they were a militaristic society, we considered the Enkali as inoffensive as the Skyrims, nomadic tribes living in the unclaimed brown hills along our border. Yet, despite their small numbers, it seems they've become a threat thanks to red iron. They must have discovered it only recently, but they mastered its harvesting and smithing much better than we. The scouts we sent even sighted an impressive fortress near reinforced with huge red iron plates they call the Crimson Keep. He awakes.